Hello, Corona Cafe. I have got a short but hopefully sweet yoga practice for you today. We will be on our back starting out, spend a short time on our stomach, and then end up in a seated position. So without further ado, you don't need any props today, just comfortable clothes, and if you have a mat, great. If not, that's okay too. So go ahead and come down onto the back. And we're going to start with the knees bent and the feet nice and wide apart so that the knees can just knock together. You can place the palms face up or face down. I like to roll my hands face up to kind of symbolize openness, and then I like to try to roll my shoulders open a little bit so that my heart feels open. But it's okay to play around with the placement of the arms and just see what's comfortable for you. You can let the eyes fall shut if that feels good to you. And just begin tuning in to the breath. Notice the texture of your breath. Notice the pace of your breathing. You might even notice the taste of the air. And we're going to get just a little bit deliberate with our breath now. Of course, at any point, if what I'm suggesting doesn't feel comfortable to you, just return to your natural breathing. But what we're going to try to do, if you'd like, is as you inhale to feel the belly expand, and then feel the chest expand, and then with your exhale, feel that wave going in reverse, so the air leaves the chest and then ultimately draining the belly. So as you breathe, look for that sensation of belly filling, then chest filling all the way up to the top, and then on the exhale, it drains from the top all the way down to the belly. You might breathe audibly, using the sound of your breath to ground you in this simple yoga practice. You can also place a hand on the belly and a hand on the chest if you'd like to feel that wave of air as it moves in and out of you. And notice how the inhale is a pretty quick wave. We fill up with air pretty quick usually, but the exhale, if you want to get all of that air out, it takes longer. Go ahead and accentuate that, lengthening the exhale, stimulating the vagus nerve, the parasympathetic nervous system. Notice what the belly feels like when you reach the very end of that exhalation and are breathing that last bit of air out. Feel how the abdominal muscles contract, but everything squeezes in toward the spine. Take one more breath like this. And then we'll bring the knees apart. Move the feet a little as necessary to bring them hips distance apart so that the knees can point straight up. And to whatever extent you can, keep that deep breath, that long exhale, that conscious breathing as we continue throughout our practice today. So we're going to start with a very simple movement here. Begin by just noticing your right arm. Notice the weight of it in the earth, against the earth. And then as you inhale, lift the arm up and overhead. Now as you exhale, bring it back down. We'll do that 2 more times. See if you can inhale up with about the same pace as your inhale, and then exhale down at about the same speed as your exhalation. So the arm's going to come back down slower than it went up if you move with your breath. 1 more time with your breath. Then let the right arm settle into the earth. Become aware of your left arm. feeling where it is in space. And then with your inhalation, breathe that arm up and overhead. On your exhalation, bring it back down, matching the movement of the arm to the movement of the breath. 2 more times at your own pace. Use the wave-like sound of your breath and the wave-like sensations of your breath in the body as an anchor to keep you present. When you're done, you can simply let that left arm settle heavily into the earth. We're going to move back to our right side now, but before we do, we're going to focus on a little core engagement. So as you're just lying here, you probably have a little gap between your low back and the earth. See if you can flatten the low back against the ground. So the belly's pushing in, the tailbone tips up just a little. If you're familiar with a Kegel contraction or that lift with the pelvic floor, that's probably happening naturally for you right now. So arms are along the side. Keep that low belly engagement, the low back against the earth, as long as you comfortably can. We're not trying to strain, we're not trying to force. So stay aware of your own limits today. And then with the inhale, we're gonna flex the right foot, so the right toes point up, and instead of just moving the arm, we're gonna move the knee and the arm in tandem. So inhale, the right thigh comes towards the chest as the arm lifts. Exhale, they move slowly back down. The low back is still kissing the earth. 2 more times. Inhale up at your pace. And exhale down. Now let the right side of the body settle into the earth. And we're going to do the same thing on the left. So if you need to briefly relax the low belly again, it's just fine. Before pressing the low back into the earth, tipping the tailbone up slightly, engaging the low belly. Flex the left foot now. With the inhale, left thigh comes toward the chest, left arm rises overhead. Exhale, slowly the heel and the hand return to the earth. 2 more times at your own pace. Notice if the low back is wanting to lift up away from the earth. It's okay if it does, but just stay conscious, stay aware of what's happening in your body. When you're done, relax the left foot down. And actually, let's give a little ankle roll. So go ahead and stretch the left foot up. Just roll the ankle a couple times in each direction. And then relax that foot down. We don't talk so good with COVID. I'm sure you all have had a little COVID brain here and there too. Hopefully not, but nice if you haven't. Right ankle rolls, then relax it down. Okay, what we just did with the right side and then the left, we're gonna see if we can bring the 2 sides together. If what we already did felt like a lot for you, then just skip it, stay here, come back to that nice belly and chest breathing, maybe letting the knees fall together again, or just enjoy some natural breathing. If what we've done so far has felt good, we're gonna just take it up a little tiny notch. So the low belly pulls in, the low back flattens to the earth. And with the inhale, flex the feet, arms and legs rise. Seeing if we can keep that low belly in and the low back kissing the earth as much as possible. When I get to the very end part before my feet come down, my low back totally rolls up. So just stay aware, moving with your breath. Let's see if we can do this 5 times, but you know, that's just like a number that I just made up, so. If 3 times feels better, do 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 1 if you love this, you know, you feel like Superman flying through the air or something, you know, pause the video, do it more times. When we come to this fully lifted position, it's almost like we're in a child's pose on our back instead of on our bellies. I may have done 5, but it may have just been 4, so I'm going to do one more. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Breathe it all out. Let the knees fall together, the feet come apart. If you'd like to close the eyes for a moment, close the eyes. And then we're going to give a little bit of love to the pelvis. So again, the knees need to point toward the sky, the feet come hips distance apart. The low back is totally relaxed here. And instead of flattening it to the earth, accentuate the arc. So instead of tipping the tailbone up, I'm tipping it down so that this arch in my low back gets even bigger. And then I'm going to do the opposite. Flatten the low back to the earth, tailbone tips up. So I'm simply moving back and forth between those two poses. It's a little torquey, but it's great for the pelvis. It's great for the sacrum. Simply rocking back and forth. The low back presses into the earth, the low back lifts. The low back presses into the earth with the tailbone tilted up. The low back lifts and the tailbone tilts down. Back and forth at your own pace. And then we're going to switch this up and try a side to side movement instead. So find a neutral pelvis now, neutral low back. And I'll start by pushing my left hip bone up toward the sky. Left hip lifts a little. My right glute, right butt cheek presses firmly into the earth. And then I switch and do the opposite. The right hip lifts, the left side presses firmly into the earth. Back and forth at your own pace. You can move fast, you can move slow. You might notice if you have some, rotation or misalignment in the pelvis or the low back, you might notice that one side is more difficult than the other. That could also just be muscle tension in one glute or the other. Just stay aware. Being curious about your own body. Now let's see if we can make some little circles here. So neutral spine now, everything's just neutral. See if you can make a little circle with the hips so that you're circling around around the sacrum. You press the low back in, then you press one hip in, then the low back arches, and you press the other hip in. Just creating these sort of hip circles. And switch directions when you're ready. Giving yourself a low back massage, a piriformis massage against the earth. Come to stillness when you're done. And we'll roll to one side in order to come onto our bellies. Rolling and talking at the same time is hard. I feel like I'm facing away from you, but I guess that just is what it is. So we're going to come into Sphinx pose. In Sphinx pose, the shoulders are stacked right over the elbows, and the hands, the arms are about forearms distance apart, so we can reach and grab opposite elbows here. For starters, just be lazy and sloppy with it. Just kind of like, if the back hunches, let it hunch, put no effort in. And see what that feels like, what your kind of default place is. And then we're going to refine. So think about pressing into the elbows to lift the heart. Think about opening the heart, rolling the shoulder blades onto the back as much as you can without moving the arms. Imagine pressing with the elbows and the arms to pull the heart forward. So forward and up. The low belly can engage gently. Maybe the tummy even comes off the mat, maybe not. Either way, it's okay. Breathe. And as you breathe, notice how your breath moves not only the chest, but maybe your back as well. You can stay here like this. If this is more effort than you want, then you can also just lie on your belly and take a few nice breaths. Or if we want a little opener for the neck, then keep that nice open heart, keep the engagement in the core, and turn to look over your right shoulder. It's not a big, strainy turn. It's just a gentle turn of the head. When you get there, breathe. Think about relaxing the shoulders away from the ears as much as you can while drawing the heart forward. The eyes can look wherever it's comfortable. And feel the body as it moves with the breath. One more big inhale. Exhale back to center, and then look in the other direction. Keeping the neck long, being gentle so we're not tweaking or compressing. Continue to breathe. And when you're done on this side, come back to center. We'll all stack one hand on top of the other and bring the forehead down on top of the hands. Lift the feet so the knees are bent, the feet are lifted, and then just allow the feet to fall to one side and then the other. So you're kind of windshield wipering the legs. Moving back and forth, releasing the low back. And then we'll relax the feet back down. Bring the hands to your side, lift the head. We're going to press up and back to child's pose. So the toes come together. The knees can be either together or apart. I like my knees apart better for child's pose. If child's pose is often an uncomfortable place for you, or if it makes you dizzy post-COVID, something you can do is stack the fists so the head doesn't end up quite as low. You just have your head resting on these two balled hands here. You can also use a cushion in the same way, but keeping your head so it's not below the heart might help with that dizziness. If you don't have any issues there or with flexibility, you can bring the head down onto the mat. Extend the arms. And again, find the breath. Notice if there's still a wave-like pattern in how the breath moves in and out of your body. See if maybe being in this different position allows your breath to reach some different nooks and crannies than the air flows to when you're on your back. Feel the back body expand with each inhalation, and feel the body settle into the support of the ground with each exhalation. Imagine yourself getting a little heavier, a little softer, a little more supported each time you exhale. You can stay right here, or if you'd like a little side body stretch, then walk both hands over to the right and plant the forehead between the hands again. So with the hands to the right, we're opening the left side body. The farther to the right you move your hands, especially that left hand, the more opening you'll get there. The more you press back with the hips, the deeper that opening. Breathe into the spaces between the ribs. Let the air flow into the crevices, the crannies that are opened up on the left side of the body. And then we'll walk the hands back through center and over to the left side, now breathing into the right side of the body. Again, think about gently pressing the hips back to create more space. And then see if you can fill that space with air. Breathing into all those tight places, breathing into the spaces between the ribs. Fully exhaling. We'll come back to center. And we're gonna find our way to a seated position for a very simple twist, and then we will be done for today. So if it's comfortable to sit cross-legged, great. If not, just do what works for you. A great way to make sitting like this more comfortable is to sit on a cushion. So if you've got pillows or cushions handy, that can be great. Let's roll the shoulders up to the ears and down onto the back. And then we're gonna cactus the arms. So they're just L's, and if they come a little lower than that, that's fine too. Sticking out from the body. And the real point of this with the arms is to bring the shoulder blades together onto the back. So think about shoulders coming up, down onto the back, and then the shoulder blades squeeze together. Inhale into that big space you've created in your chest, and then exhale it out. One more inhale, and one more exhale. And then with your next inhale, keep the head where it is, but twist the shoulders and arms to the right. So our cactus is twisting to the right, but we're still looking forward. Breathe here. Think about relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale through center. Inhale to the other side. Oops, I stopped looking forward. Keep looking forward, just the shoulders and the arms move. Breathe. One more big inhale. Exhale back to center. We're gonna do this one more time. If you wanna let your head move now, you can. If your arms are exhausted and you wanna bring them down, that's okay too. So inhale, twist to the side. If it's too much for the arms, just relax them down. Put that left hand on your right knee for leverage. Exhale through center. Inhale to the other side. Think about getting a little longer on your inhale. So we want this twist to come from a long spine. We don't want to be crunching anything. One more inhale. Exhale back to center. Drop those tired arms. Roll the shoulders up to the ears 3 times and back down onto the back so the heart opens. And then we'll relax the hands on the knees. Close the eyes for a moment. Feel the length in your neck. And allow the crown of the head to reach a little higher toward the sky. Feel the openness in your heart. And allow the shoulder blades to slide together on the back. Feel the strength of your core supporting you as you sit here. Feel the groundedness in your hips and your legs. And feel the steady support of the earth beneath you. Open our eyes and bring the hands to heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.